Hello again. We are going to focus this week on reviewing, and the only new thing we're going to learn today is going to be over circles. So we've focused most of this unit on polygons, quadrilaterals specifically, and triangles. We focused on the different names of them, and then we went into area and perimeter, which we will review this week. But before we get to that, I want to go over just some specifics about the circle. This may be familiar to you, it may be brand new, so pay attention. We have lots of vocabulary we've gone over in this unit. We've gone over length, width, height, base, polygons, all the different quadrilateral names. Today I want to go over circles and their vocabulary. Then I'm going to show you how you can find one of the types if you have the other, and vice versa. So I just drew it today instead of made it online. So this is what we're focusing on. You can see there our circle, and we have, those are the three terms I want to focus on: diameter, radius, and center. So diameter, if you notice, goes all the way across the circle. The important part is it has to go through the center, and that's what this top piece says. Diameter passes through the center of the circle, and then we'll get to that equation later. The next part is the radius. Radius is only half of that, if you notice. So the radius is the distance from that center point to the outer rim of the circle. So to that outside edge right there. Okay? So now gets into the math of it. We can use diameter or radius to find one another. So if I know diameter, I can get radius by this equation here. Diameter divided by 2 would give me my radius because it's giving you 1/2. If I'm trying to find the diameter, I would just take the radius and times it by 2. All right, we're going to do some examples of that, and there will also be a version of this anchor chart before you do any examples. We're going to go over 3 problems together to make sure that we understand the difference between radius and diameter and how we get those answers. So on this first circle, we have a radius of 5 1/10. So if the question was to find diameter, we'll take 5, because this is the radius, let me mark that. I would take, so diameter is going to equal 5 point, start that over. Diameter is going to equal 5.1 times 2. So doing that, we can stack it if we need to over here. Using standard algorithm, I have 2 there, 10, and then I know the decimal's over 1, so I go over 1, and I have 10 and 2/10, and the units is centimeters. Okay, so to go from radius to diameter, I times by 2. Okay, let's try another one. So if I'm going from diameter to radius, like I would be on this one, I'm going from diameter all the way across to radius halfway across. So if we think about that, we have to divide it in half, or split it in half, which would be dividing by 2 instead of multiplying. So my equation will be 7 divided by 2, because I'm going from diameter now to radius. So I'm essentially splitting this in half. Now, we know that 7 does not equally get divided by 2. Okay, we know that it's not an even number. So we have to think what we already know about numbers in order to get 7 divided. So we are going to have a decimal. So if I have 7, or I think of a number that closely is divided by 2 evenly, I have 6. So if I have 6, I'm going to have 2 groups of 3. Okay, there's 6 divided into 2 groups of 3. And then I have this 1 dot left over. What am I going to do with that? I'm splitting it in half so that I can put 1/2 here and 1/2 here. So then that means in a group, I have 3 and 1/2, and that in a decimal is 3 and 5/10. Let's try a couple more. Now these would be forming them as word problems, but it's the same math. So if we have a diameter of a circle that is 10, what is the radius? Going from diameter to radius, I'm dividing by 2. So the diameter is 10. I'm dividing that by 2. This is a problem we should know, knowing that now the radius is 5. So the radius is 5, the diameter is still 10. If I have a radius that is 7, and I'm going to a diameter, so from radius to diameter, that's multiplying by 2. So radius is 7 times 2, which is equal to 14. So our radius is 7, and our diameter is 14. Okay, so from, just to review, diameter to radius, divide by 2, radius to diameter, multiply by 2.